Hey, 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 it is an unstoppable day. It's your boy, Terrence, the unstoppable Coach Leffridge. And you know, if it's Tuesday, it's another episode of the Unstoppable Story Show where we talk to ordinary people with unstoppable stories, helping you to focus more on what you're able to do and less on what's stopping you. And man, oh man, oh man, do we have a show for you tonight. So you've got to, if you don't have it already, I need you to go get your pen. I need you to go get your pad. And by all means, go get your favorite beverage because you are going to be seated in the presence of greatness. We are going to be sitting at the feet of a man who does not need introduction, but I'm going to do my best to give the introduction this evening. And you're going to get some knowledge that is, I would say, definitely very much needed in a time such as this. So come on in, like and share. Come on in, like and share. We're going to try to get your comments on. And, you know, you guys who have been following the Unstoppable Story Show, you know that each and every week something happens to make us live up to the name of this show. Something happens that always tries to take us out and stop us from getting this quality programming out to the masses where it needs to be. But every week we come back and we show the devil that this is called the Unstoppable Story Show for a reason, because we don't let nothing stop us from getting this programming out to you. And tonight was no different. You see that we're using StreamYard this evening for the broadcast. Normally, I'd be all nice and flashy with the show logo and everything on BeLive TV. But for some reason, BeLive didn't want to cooperate. Maybe the information that this master storyteller and orator and author extraordinaire is going to share with you tonight, maybe it was just too much for BeLive TV. So we had to up our game. We had to stream up the yard, as they say, and put it on a different platform. But here's what I want you to do. I want you to strap in now, because we are definitely going for a ride. We're going for a historical journey. We're going to go on a financial journey. We're going to go on a motivational journey. And we are going to go on a journey towards our movement that's coming up this weekend, the Real Men Speak Summit. And as we have moved into the month of June, which is typically Father's Day and Men's Month, I decided that we needed to have a conversation with the elders. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. You know that there's somebody in your family, the matriarch or the patriarch of your family, that you just love to spend time with because you get the history of your family. You get the understanding of how your family works. You get that legacy building knowledge and information that helps you be a better man or a better woman. Well, we've got someone with us this evening that is that patriarch of our universal family. He is that one that is building up our culture. He is one that is focusing on our race, and he is making sure that we continue to move forward instead of continuing to look back. His bio says he is the CEO of FraserNet, and he is the founder of the #1 Black Empowering Network Conference in the United States, the Power Networking Conference. His bio says he's the author of 6 books, 6 best-selling books. His bio says that he is the founder of 2 charter schools in his hometown that are educating over 300 Black men and women each and every year. His bio says all that, but let me tell you, this man is so much more than that. And everything I just said would be the last thing that he would say when you ask him about who he is. He's none other than Dr.George C. Fraser. And what he would say he is, first and foremost, is a servant leader. And I want to welcome this servant leader to the Unstoppable Stories Show this evening. Welcome, Dr. Fraser. How are you?
I'm doing awesome, Terrence. It's a joy to be with you. I love your style. I love your spirit. I love your servant leadership. I love your commitment to our people, telling our stories the way our stories need to be told. And I love the fact that you've been at it. You know, you've been at it. It's in your blood. You are woke, you're conscious, you're excited about us, you're positive, and there's so many things to be depressed and negative about, but you are very positive. And so, in my observations of you over a long period of time, it is an honor really to be in your presence, and it's an honor to have this conversation. I promise you it will be a rich conversation. And let's get rolling.
I love it. And I'm so glad I'm recording this because I'm writing down everything he just said. He said that about me, y'all. He said that about me.
Yeah,
and this is high praise coming from a man who has been, for the last 4 decades, has been championing the cause of our Black leadership. He is, for the last 32 years, he's been championing the cause of financial wealth and independence through his company, FraserNet. And for 75 years, he has been gracing this planet with his being, with his fortitude, with his intestinal stamina, and with his desire to leave people better off for meeting him than before he did. And so I'm glad that you're here to chop it up a little bit on the Unstoppable Story Show. But you know what? I can never tell anybody's bio better than they can tell their own. So I want you to tell us a little bit in your own words about your bio. But first, this is the question, Dr. Fraser, that I ask to everybody on the Unstoppable Story Show. And it's a simple question. And so here it is. What do you think of when you hear the word unstoppable?
First of all, I love that word. I co-wrote a book with Les Brown using that word, Mission Unstoppable.
Yes.
Extraordinary stories of failures, blessings, because failure, hills and valleys, twists and turns, the circuitous road to discover our purpose and why God assigned us this, whatever number of years you've been given to do the work that he has assigned you. And he has given you all the tools that you need. You wouldn't be here if he did not only put a vision and a mission in you, but also provide you with the tools to make you unstoppable. But first, to put obstacles in your way. And that's how we learn. We learn a lot more from failure than we do from success. One of my favorite quotes outside of the Bible is a quote by Marcus Aurelius. Marcus Aurelius was one of the 5 great Caesars. And Marcus Aurelius was leader of the free world in his time. And he said that the impediment to action advances the action. What stands in your way becomes the way. Let me repeat that. That's a mile deep. The impediment to action advances the action. What stands in your way becomes the way. A different way to say it is that the obstacle is the way. Where there is no obstacle, there is no way. What is the first thing God does when he gives you an assignment that he feels that you're ready for? He puts an obstacle in your way. And your job is to find a way over, around, through, and under the obstacle to learn the lessons, to experience failures, hills and valleys, twists and turns. And when you get over that obstacle, you get an attaboy and an attagirl, and then you are given a new assignment at a slightly higher level. And what's the next thing God does? He puts an obstacle in your way. And your job is to find a way over, around, through, and under the obstacle. If you do not, that is where you remain stuck until you do and have prepared yourself for a new assignment.
I love it. I love it.
Unstoppable reminds me of God's intention. And that is to, in fact, force you to learn and grow, and to demonstrate your unstoppableness, your readiness, and your path to glory. So when you say unstoppable, I love that word. I tell people all the time, I eat no's as vitamins. I love when someone tells me no, right? And then I go, oh, really? Watch this. And then
Wow.
I figure out a way over, around, and through the obstacle. So I am excited about this program. I'm excited about the title of the program. Again, Les Brown and I co-wrote a book based on your entire title, and you are the unstoppable coach. That means when you're coaching people, you are helping to guide them through the obstacles to get to where they're going, to in fact make them unstoppable. God bless
Yes.
you.
I love it. Thank you so much for that. I received that. But now I got to tell you, you and Les Brown, who I've had the opportunity to be a host of his shows on 3 different occasions. I love him. But you two wrote the book Mission Unstoppable, but you spelled it the old ordinary way. So I had to come up with a different way, and let me
Mhm.
share it with you. I've shared it with our audience every time. I had to take one of those P's out of the word unstoppable,
That's
Dr.
right.
Fraser. And the word is spelled UN capital STOP because
Able.
many people focus more on what's stopping them. It's just that red stop sign right there, smack
Yeah.
dab in your face. That's what we're trained to focus on.
Yeah.
But the power, Dr. Fraser, the power is in the last 4 letters, the
Able.
ABLE. When you focus more on what you're able to do than what's stopping you, that's when you can really talk about the obstacle in your way becoming your way. Or, like I like to say, or how we've been saying during the course of these pandemic that never went away, been with us for over 400 years, plus this new pandemic that's been with us for more than 6 months, we learn how to turn those obstacles into opportunities because now we can focus on what we're able to do instead of those things that are what's stopping you.
I
So let me
love
ask
that.
you this.
I love that. That's a wonderful way. It's sort of a nuanced way that you have pivoted on the word unstoppable. That's beautiful. That's the power of our creative thinking. We are just some of the most creative, most innovative people on the planet.
Yes. And with that segue, if that be the case, and we know that that is the case, Dr. Fraser, what is it that seems to be stopping us right now as a people and as a planet?
Well, it's interesting. I spoke at Morehouse to the student body and had a Q&A period, and a young brother stood up and asked, what do you think is the number one reason inhibiting the success of so many of us? Not all of us, but just a lot of us.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, for me, it's very simple. Everything you want in life is on the other side of hard. Let me
Wow.
repeat that.
Yeah.
Everything that you want in life, brothers and
For some
sisters, is
reason,
on the
we
other side of
love
hard.
hard. Yeah.
And what limits our success for so many is we simply will not make the commitment to do the work.
Mm.
The work. Now, I may call it work. People say to me, Dr. Fraser, how do you work 16, 17 hours every single day, 7 days a week? Well, you look at it as work. I don't look at it as work. I
Yeah.
look at it as performing the task that I love, that God has given me the vision and the skills to perform. And this is what gives me the greatest joy and the greatest satisfaction, which is really identifying your purpose. What gives you the greatest fulfillment, the greatest joy, and the greatest satisfaction. And I never get tired of doing it. I can't wait to go to bed at night and fall in totally exhausted. And then I can't wait to get up in the morning full of new ideas and ready to work on the next thing to move forward that which I have been assigned to do. And I look, as I said earlier, for the obstacles, because if the mountain was smooth, you couldn't climb it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? No,
Yeah, you'd slide back
no.
down every time.
Yeah, absolutely. So you need craggedy edges and you need obstacles to grab onto to learn how to get around to climb the mountain. First, you have to negotiate the valley that is in front of the mountain. Half the people never are able to do that. And then you have to climb certain levels, catch your breath, another level, another level, another level. So obstacles are part of it, and that's what I love about my life, is figuring out, using my creative mind, my intellectual curiosity, my critical thinking, figuring out every step of the way. And let me say that differently. God is constantly talking to us, telling us exactly what to do.
Yes.
Except most people choose not to listen. And the reason is because it requires change. It requires hard work. And one of the most difficult things for people to experience in life is the constant change and the work that it takes to manage that change. It's simply easier sitting on a couch, drinking a beer, watching television. Well, if that's what your life is, you will not be able to climb very many mountains in life.
Yeah.
So it is the willingness, the discipline, Terrence, the obedience to what is being said to you, to climb the mountains necessary to get where you're going. And then you're going to, if you do that, you're going to get to the top of a mountain. That's what's going to happen. You will get to a top of the mountain. And then when you get to the top of the mountain, you'll look around for a while, just like when they climb Mount Everest or any one of the big seven. They look around, they wallow in the visions and the beauty from that mountaintop. And then they have to go down the mountain and then begin to prepare to climb another mountain. There's a beautiful African proverb that says, beyond the mountain, more mountains.
Mountains.
Right?
Yeah.
So every passage of your life, you get 8 passages in life. Each passage is 10 years. It is about climbing new mountains.
I love
Let me
it.
explain that to you.
I love it. We hanging out with Dr. George C. Fraser on the Unstoppable Stories Show. You can go ahead and continue to put your comments in the feed, and we'll put them on there. Roz Jones, she's joining us, and it's just beyond words. She's saying it's just fire. We've got Jose Gonzalez saying so good. Latoya Underwood, she's saying this is good. So thank you guys. We've got Dee Bowden. She's checking in. Good evening, Terrence and Dr. Fraser. Good evening, Dee. And we've got Nikki Hammer. She's checking in. Knowledgeable is the best policy. Absolutely. Thank you guys. Continue to send the comments and make sure you've got your pen and your pad and you're writing down these nuggets, because he's going to throw them out without hesitation. So you want to make sure that you are grabbing them. And, you know, when you talk about the mountain and you talk about the challenge, and Dr. Fraser, someone who may not know you but just heard the bio today, well, they may say, well, you know what, you're already on top of the mountain, Dr. George Fraser. How can you talk to me about the mountains that I'm going through? So let's take them back. Let's take them back a few decades. And
I love that.
Go ahead.
I love what Nikki says. Mm-hmm. I love what Nikki says here. Nikki says knowledgeable is the best policy. Yes, you're absolutely right. But let me give you a little bit of Socrates, Nikki. Socrates said that the only good is knowledge and the only evil is ignorance. Right. The only evil is ignorance. Now, we gain our knowledge and ultimately our wisdom, and we earn our eldership. As an elder, I'm talking to you, as we navigate and negotiate the obstacles through the 8 passages of life. Each passage is 10 years. So let me explain that. Let me break that down to you very quickly. You are a different person at 1 than you were at 10. You're a different person at 20 than you were at 10. Let us pray. You're a different person 30 than you were at 20. You're a different person at 40 than 30, 50 than 40, 60 than 50, 70 than 60, 80 than 70. You're constantly evolving, navigating, and negotiating new valleys through every passage of your life, right? So you
Absolutely.
have different problems at 10 years old than you have at 20 years old. The
Yes.
problems are a little bit more complicated, a little bit more involved, require a greater investment by you. It requires a new habit, a new commitment to what? Personal growth and development, lifelong learning, and constant never-ending improvement. That's what it requires. You have to habitualize that. It requires you to read. It requires you to be intellectually curious and to read more things about more things so that you can talk about something other than the weather and sports. You need to be a 360-degree human being. You need to be an inch wide and a mile deep in your subject matter expertise, and then you need to be a mile wide and an inch deep in matters of the world. That requires an intellectual curiosity. That requires reading. That requires constant, never-ending improvement and personal growth and development through every passage of life. And yes, I am 75. I'm at the peak of my productivity, effectiveness, and career. I'm well decorated, no question about that. In 2016, Barack Hussein Obama presented me the Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award. I've been inducted into the Minority Business Hall of Fame and Museum. So I can go on and on and on. I don't want to. I'm just saying I'm well decorated, but it's because of the work and the investment that I made in me, right? Last year, this is truth, Terrence. Last year, I spent $18,000 on personal growth and development, workshops, seminars, conferences, books, and special educational material. And I'm already at the top of the game.
Right.
And I'm still investing in me, my knowledge, and the expansion of my knowledge. A young lady said to me on a Zoom call, Dr. Fraser, boy, you know everything. That's what she said to me. I said, darling, I know nothing. She said, what do you mean you know nothing? I said, the more I know and the more I learn, the more I learn how little I know.
I know.
And I know a lot, but I
Yeah.
really know a little, right?
Yeah.
When you compare what there is to be known, right? So investing in yourself is the first investment that you must make, your personal growth and development. It is the fertilizer that keeps this thing going. Right? So at 75, I'm still in my right mind. I'm still creating. I'm still discovering. I'm still building. I'm still learning, growing, and getting wiser. The same thing will happen to you if you are committed to those three things: personal growth and development, lifelong learning, and constant, never-ending improvement.
I love it. And they say as long as you still have breath in your body, you still have the ability to learn. And you're simply at 75 years old looking for your next mountain. And that's the beautiful thing about you. And I love how you are so transparent and letting people know that even though it may appear that you're on the top of the mountain, you're still doing all the things that got you to the top of that mountain while you're still looking to the next mountain.
There you go. In preparation for the new mountain, the next mountain, right? It won't be the same kind of mountain. It'll be a different mountain. Now I'm in the mountain of eldership. Right? My moral and spiritual responsibility is now to pour out what I have learned, to transfer that knowledge to succeeding generations, to pass the baton, to provide us infrastructure that is worthy of living on, and pass that on to succeed. That's the next mountain. What is the next mountain, Dr. Fraser? My successors, those who I have prepared to lead. What is the beacon of a great leader? It is not getting more followers, but it is in fact producing more leaders. That's what it's all about. And that's where I am in life.
And I thank you for doing that. I thank you for being what we started off at the beginning of the show, servant leaders, because the true test of any leader is the flock that is with him. You are known by the people that are up under you and the people that excel as a result of you. If you look at a bad company, you look at the top, you look at the leader. Well, what is the leader bestowing on his ambassadors, not just his employees, the people that represent his business? And the same thing with our society. You know, we put people on pedestals and call them pseudo leaders, but is their leadership in service of the people who put them up on the pedestal? And so
you hit, Terrence, you hit the nail on the head. People would say, Dr. Fraser, could you break down the three things that put you where you are? Well, I believe that life is like a three-legged stool, and you need all three of the legs for the stool to stand. The first leg on the stool of life is education. That you must get as much education as you can afford or stand, whether it's formal or informal. In fact, you will probably need some of both. Malcolm X was informally educated. He had no college degree. Neither did Bill Gates. Neither did Steve Jobs. I'm not saying a college degree isn't important. It's a wonderful thing. But you can self-educate too. Yeah. I'm a self-educated person. I read 100 books a year, right? I have 25,000 books in my library and in my office and in my home. In fact, my wife is beginning to complain because the books are moving her out. No, not at all. So the first leg on the stool of life is education. The second leg on the stool of life is marketable skills. It is converting your education into a marketable skill. And if you're only making $10 an hour, you're only worth $10 an hour, because the marketplace will determine your worth depending on how you have leveraged and utilized your education and your skill base to add value in the marketplace. The marketplace determines your value. So that's the second stool on the leg of life, right? How you've converted your education into a marketable skill. You determine that. You're responsible for that. No ism will get in your way.
Right.
In fact, if you use racism as a reason to fail, your black ass will fail. You know why? Because there is racism. And therefore, racism wins and you lose, right? Wow. You see, I refuse to lose to racism.
Absolutely.
Right? One, it ain't ever going away. It's never been away. It ain't ever going away. It damn sure ain't going away in your lifetime, including white privilege and white supremacy. Yes, they exist. Yes, they are wrong, but they have always existed and they will continue to exist for generations to come. We will find ways to get around it and to mitigate it, but we will not totally eliminate it. So let me give you a secret. I don't say this to many people. Let me tell you how we're going to get out of this racism and white privilege thing. Don't tell anybody.
Okay.
Don't tell anybody.
Just our secret. Yeah. Us and the million people that are watching.
Right. We're going to screw our way out of it. In 100 years, there will be so much commingling of cultures. It's already happening. Mm-hmm. Look at the commingling of culture, the percentage of mixed marriages now, right? Versus, let's say, 30 years ago. Mm-hmm. Well, imagine what that's going to look like, in about 5 generations, in about 100 years. So there will be so much commingling of racial groups that nobody will know who is what.
Right. Absolutely.
You understand?
Imagine what that would look like.
Imagine what that's going to look like. So that's what's going to happen over time. So it's going to take us about 100 years to get rid of America's original sin, which is the racist behavior of white people, right? Now, let me help our audience understand what white people are doing here. There are only three races on earth. There's Asian, black, and white. Those are the main three races on earth. Those are the three colors of people, generally speaking, that God created. The largest race on earth are Asians at 4.4 billion. The second largest are people of African descent at 1.6 billion. And the third, or the smallest race, are white people, Caucasians, at about 1 billion. And don't tell anybody, they have recessive genes. And they're not replacing themselves. So, sooner rather than later, they are absolutely going to be the minority. In fact, by 2053, the majority will become the largest minority, right?
Absolutely.
So what white people are doing, they're scared. They're doing everything they need to do to survive. That's what they're doing. Everything that is mean, is evil, and is egregious, and is and as hateful.
Low down dirty. We can say it.
Right, low down dirty, right? That's what they have to do to survive. Now, the problem is black people are not doing everything they need to do to survive, right? So we have to be better than them. I'm not saying it's fair. My mama told me many years ago, Georgie boy, you're going to have to be twice as good to get half as much, because if you're black and mediocre in America, you better leave, because you're going to be marginalized in this country, Georgie boy, and you're ultimately going to be destroyed. You're going to be living on the margins. So you got to focus on excellence. You see, brothers and sisters, we can't be mediocre. Either we're excellent or we're invisible. We're black people. Only white people can be mediocre. We know that because when you compare what we have in the White House today, one of the most mediocre white men ever invented by God, as compared to Barack Hussein Obama, president of the Harvard Law Review, you will understand that if Barack Obama had done 1/1000th or said 1/100th of what Donald Trump had said, he would have never been elected dog catcher.
Absolutely.
We cannot be mediocre. We must focus on excellence. Now, the beauty of that is that when you are excellent, you will never have to worry about competition. When you're excellent, you will never have to get in anybody's line. People will get in line for you.
Yes. They will
So
recognize
excellence is really the business that all things FraserNet is in. We are in the business of excellence and leadership. That's the business we are in.
Let me jump in there.
And that's the business you need to be in. Except most black people have forgotten who they are. And not only have they forgotten that we are the children of the slaves that would not die, that we have the genetic encoding of the great kings and queens of Africa, that we were building pyramids and solving complex engineering problems when other cultures were living in caves, eating each other. In spite of the fact that America kept its foot on our throat for 400 years, we overcame that and we rose like the phoenix. We are an awesome and powerful people. No, Europeans did not come to Africa and pull Africans out of trees eating bananas and civilize us. That's total bullshit. Go to Egypt, go to Cairo or Kemet, the land of the blacks. Walk through the pyramids of Giza. Walk through the Valley of the Kings. Look on the walls in those tombs and look at the color of the people painted on those walls. They were black. That is the DNA that is running through you.
Yes.
But you don't know that because you have been psyched out by this BS that white people have stolen our culture, stolen our accomplishments, stolen our history, which is the only way they could control us, by controlling our minds. Well, all of that has been debunked. So we're all that in a bag of chips. There is nothing that God has assigned you to do that you cannot do. Now, I hope you heard what I said.
Absolutely.
I said there's nothing that God has assigned you to do
that you
can do.
Yeah.
The other side of that coin is you can't do anything. You can't do everything. You can do what God has assigned you to do. Let me give you an example. Michael Jordan quit basketball to play baseball. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember.
He was terrible. They fired Michael Jordan because he wasn't supposed to be playing baseball.
Right.
God assigned him to play basketball.
And I love that. I love that point, because what I talk about, one of the things we talk about is unstoppable coaching, is that we hold you accountable to doing what you were created to do. And that's a little bit different than what you want to do. That's a little bit different than what you see other people doing. That's a little bit different than what you see George Fraser doing. See, because here's the thing, there's only one George C. Fraser. And someone much smarter than me had to say to me, stop trying to imitate somebody else, because they're an original. You would only be the copy. That's instead right. of focusing on what it is that we were created to do, focus in on what God implanted deep inside of us from the day we were born. It was right.
You're on a mission from God. Now, the big job that you have is to find out what that is.
Mission is, yes. And if he told us, Dr. Fraser, if he told us what that mission was when we were first born, two things would have happened. We wouldn't have been ready for it, and we wouldn't have known how to do it. So that seed, just like any flower, just like any tree, had to grow. And I love this analogy, because it had to go through some dirt. And we are going through some dirt right now. We're going through some dirt on a health standpoint with this COVID-19. We're going through some dirt with this continuing rearing of its head of oppression and abuse of power. We're going through some dirt with still not being able as a people to collaborate, because we're still stuck on competing. But once we go through that dirt, if we do it the right way, we can become the tree standing tall and firm that he created us to be. So, Dr. Fraser, my question is to you: why do
Terrence, that's a rich point, because Dr. John Henrik Clarke said this, the mentor to Malcolm X, the great Harlem philosopher and psychologist. He said that a tree without roots cannot thrive, cannot grow, cannot live, right? No. So understand, brothers and sisters, who you are. That is what's in your DNA. That is what your potential is, right? It's important. So you have to study not only our modern history, the 400-year blip on the chart. It's just 400 years. Look at African people, because we are God's first people. Yes. That's not hype. No. That's biological and anthropological fact, right? So if you look at the timeline of African people on Earth and what they have accomplished within that timeline, about 10,000 years, that 400-year blip is nothing compared to the 5,000 to 6,000 years of greatness and civilizing the world. We are.
That's who we are. And we need to be reminded of that. And we need to be reminded of it as women and as men. And so as we come to the close and the hour just goes too fast, thank God we're going to see you again this week. As we come to the close of this segment, I want to talk about where we go from here. And I want to talk about, because you do the Power Networking Conference each and every year, one of the number one Black conference in America. But as you're at those conferences, you see the demographics. You see the majority women and a spattering of men, no matter what conference you go to, whether it's your conference, whether it's conferences in other cities, you see that. Right. And women appear to have, they don't appear to have a problem with speaking out about our circumstances. But us as men, we still seem to find ourselves stuck in the shadows or being silent or being complacent. And that's what really was the impetus for me to put together this conference, this summit, not a conference, this summit, because we have to come together at the mountaintop.
Summit. Right. Yes. Every year I do the State of Black America at the conference. This is a little flyer of the conference. I'd like to make a special offer to people. But at our conference, it is a place where one connects with the best and brightest, the talented 10 top Black professionals, business owners, and community leaders, woke brothers and sisters, right? Right, race men and race women. I'm a race man. Terrence, you're a race man. What is a race man or a race woman? It is someone that has committed their time, talent, and treasure into the investment and upliftment of his own people first. That's what you're going to meet. You're going to meet 1,500 of those people that think like you and I, Terrence. That is empowering. You are going to connect with them. And through that connection, we're going to teach you how to grow and how to prosper. We only focus on 3 things at the Power Networking Conference: business, wealth management, wealth and economic development, right, as a category, and then wellness, psychological wellness and physical wellness, because they are connected. And so we are out of our natural minds, so we have to begin the healing process of helping us to get our minds right, and then provide the relationships, the networks, the people that know you, love you, respect you, and think like you, and want what you want, and do the kinds of things that you want to do, because we know that you are the average of the 5 people in which you spend the most time with. Yes, you are. And the fastest way to change yourself is to hang out with people who are already where you want to be. What am I saying to you? Don't spend major time with minor people. People going nowhere want you to go nowhere with them. People doing nothing want you to do nothing with them. If you want to change your life, change your relationships. In fact, if you are not where you want to be in life, brothers and sisters, it's because you don't have the right people in your life. This is biblical. Come to the Power Networking Conference, and we will introduce you to the right people that need to be in your life, because most of us are in business in some way. Even if you work in a church, in fact, the church is the largest business in the Black community, right? It's serious business. If you're in a marriage, you're also in a business, one of the most serious businesses you will ever have in your life. So,
and long term.
Business is about relationships. Without relationships, you have no business. Without relationships, you have no business being in business. In fact, the business you're really in is in the business of building relationships. And sisters, you've heard me say, right? If you can't build with them, don't chill with them. If they don't wear a diaper, you can't change them. So it's relationship. You'll learn about the power and the importance of relationships. You'll learn an incredible networking skills that will take your life and your business and your family to the next level. But most importantly, you will connect, you will grow, you will prosper, and ultimately you will learn how to learn, earn, and return. That's basically what we have to do. We must learn. We got a lot of us learning, a lot of us earning, but not enough of us returning. We'll show you the best way to execute on that, because our people want progress without execution. This is why in 21 years since Rodney King and right up to George Floyd and all of this crap and all of this, the most egregious behavior and stupidity I have seen in the policing force in my lifetime in 75 years, but still nothing has changed, because we do protest, we do saber rattle, we will get out there. God bless the young people. They are now out there. They're now in the struggle face to face. This is a beautiful thing, but we now got to, after we march and after we saber rattle and after we write, we've got to organize and we have to execute. We teach you how to do that at the Power Networking Conference. So our young brothers and sisters are marching. We are executing. We're executing. We're producing products and services that provide us and our family the wealth that we need to serve our people, to recycle our dollars. That's the reason you want to come to the Power Networking Conference. It's 4 days, October the 14th through the 17th in Houston, Texas. It's our second year in Houston, Texas, the fourth largest Black population in America, right?
Yes.
So come and join us. So let me make you a special offer. I'm just going to make you a special offer. It is a one-time offer. It's good for only 5 people because the offer is insane. So my controller said you can only give away 5 of these packages, right? So remember, it's October the 14th through the 17th in Houston, Texas, and we're going to do it. So here's the offer. An adult registration for our conference is $1,500. If you met one person that could help change the trajectory of your life, would that be worth $1,500? The answer to that would be held to the yes.
Absolutely.
You'll meet more than one. We encourage you to bring a young person, a student, 17 to 25, so that our young people are sitting at the feet of masters. When I say master, let me give you an example. Dr. Julius Garvey will be getting the first International Marcus Garvey Award. Who's Dr. Julius Garvey? He is the son of Marcus Garvey. He's 86 years old. He will be there. He is our senior elder. That's who you're going to meet. People like him. Boyce Watkins will be with us as well. Dr. Randall Pinkett. I don't want to spend time. So with all the names, go on our website, powernetworkingconference.com, powernetworkingconference.com, and find out who's going to be at the conference. So here's the offer. A student is $800. An adult is $1,500. We sell out every year. You combine a student and one adult, that's $2,300. I'm going to take $1,900 off of that and give that package to you for $399. Now, we have an offer on our website, but you can't get this offer. You can only get it through me. You got to email me. You email me at gfraser@frasernet.com. That's gfraser@frasernet.com. Put in the subject line, put I'm in, and in the body, put your full name and your cell number. Your full name and your cell number. The first 5 people, all emails are timestamped, so I know who the first 5 people are. We'll get the $399 offer, $1,900 off.
Lord,
That's my offer, and I'm sticking to it. Thank Terrence for that offer. It's limited to 5 people.
I love it.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
That's the Power Networking Conference, October 14th through the 17th in Houston, Texas. And you go to his email, gfraser@frasernet.com. Now, you got to be the first 5. 6 won't do. The first 5 are going to get that special $399 offer, $1,900 off of that special program. And you know what? I have not had the pleasure of being there yet. This is my year, come hell or COVID-19. This is my year of being there. But I have heard amazing things. I've seen lives changed after coming back from the Power Networking Conference. I've seen mindset change after coming from the Power Networking Conference. And it's never been so clear before that you can't be what you haven't seen until you put yourself in a room to see the possibilities. And if you want to see the possibilities of what life can be for you, then you definitely need to, while you're watching this broadcast right now, go ahead. You can open another tab and go to G Fraser at FraserNet.com and get that special offer. But, but, you know what? That's October. But we've got Dr. Fraser coming again this week, and he's going to be part of what we are calling the Real Men Speak Summit. The Real Men Speak Summit this Friday, this Saturday, virtually. You don't got to go nowhere. You ain't got to buy a plane ticket. You ain't got to put any gas in the car. All you have to do is set your mind and your body in front of your virtual laptop, phone, or favorite electronic item. I don't know what it is. There's so many you can use.
What is my time slot? What day am I on and what's my time slot?
You are actually part of the roundtable on Friday night. So you guys, if you love what he did right now, it's going to get more better on Friday night. So from 6:30 to 8 o'clock, our esteemed guest, Dr. George Fraser, will be part of the Council of Men. That's what we're calling it, the Council of Men. And what does MEN stand for? It stands for Men Encouraging Nations. Because as Dr. Fraser told you, he has been all over the world encouraging nations. And he's not the only man that's been doing that. We have Dr. Dennis Kimbrough, who's also going to be a part of the roundtable of the Council of Men. We have Dr. Ambassador Clyde Rivers, who's going to be part of the roundtable. And we have the Black Belt speaker founder himself, Dr. Reuben West. All four of these gentlemen are going to be part of the Council of Men at the Real Men Speak Summit, June 19th and 20th. You've got to have your face in the place because they're going to be sharing wisdom beyond your years. They're going to be sharing knowledge, applied knowledge, because we know that knowledge is not power. We know that applied knowledge is power. And they're going to come to you to share how they have taken their knowledge and they have put it into action, and they continue to put it into action each and every day of their life. As Dr. Fraser told you, 16, 17 hours a day, he is applying his knowledge. He sleeps a little bit and he gets back up and he starts applying that knowledge again because he wants to live full and die empty. And he is a real man. And he is a real man that you need to hear amongst with 30 other real men and real women who support the Real Men Speak movement that you will see over 17 hours of programming this coming weekend. Yeah, we are going to give it to you large and in charge because we feel that it's time for real men to stand up and speak out. You know, Dr. Fraser, Dr. King has this quote that I just love, and I share it every chance I get. And he says, the true measure of a man is not where he sits in times of comfort and convenience, but where he stands in times of conflict and controversy. And we got those two things in spades right now. And it's going to take real men like yourself, real men like the other men on the Council of Men Friday night, and real men who are going to be speaking all the way through Saturday night to stand up and talk about this controversy and this conflict that we find ourselves in yet again, and come up with positive solutions on how we can move forward and lead not just this country, but this world out of this crisis. So I want to thank you publicly for volunteering to be a part of this phenomenal event that I know is just going to be the highlight of 2020 thus far. Why do you think it's important for real men to speak in a time like this?
I think it's real men, if they are real men, have to stand up and be counted. And that's what real men do. And real men have to make sure that we are equally yoked with real women. You said it earlier, you're right. It's painful that our women are outperforming and out achieving us. There are more Black women in medical school, engineering school, accountancy, getting pharmacy degrees in the high professions than Black men. There are lots of reasons for it. We don't have time to unpack it.
Yes.
But real men must stand up and be counted. I can't think of a moment in my life quite like this one. And I was around for the marches on Washington, and that I'm the last generation. I'm the oldest boomer at 75, the youngest boomer at 55. So those were real men, and something got done. We marched, but then we executed. So this is the time, the confluence and the alignment of these circumstances put us in a moment in time where now real Black men have to stand and speak up and show out and execute, execute, execute. So thank you for that idea. Thank you for pulling that together. It's important that our women see us like that.
Yes.
Our women do that more than we do that, unfortunately.
Yes.
And as you said, yes, our conference is 19 years old. Forbes magazine named it one of the top 5 conferences in America, not to be missed, not Black America. And it's still 60% women, 40% men.
Yes.
But they're the baddest sisters on the planet. They're fine. And whatever brother shows up, they see that brother is thinking like them. And if either of them happen to be footloose and fancy free, that is fire. That's a connection.
Yes.
You want to be in an environment like that where both of you are thinking and aspiring and share a common vision. That is a connection.
I love it. And so we're going to set the table on June 19th and June 20th for the real men to speak up and be seen, so that on October 14th through the 17th, they can come together and be fancy and free with those other powerful women that are already doing it. And by the end of 2020, what started out as devastation will turn into jubilation, because we have gotten our act together and we're moving forward in positivity. Dr. Fraser, I could talk to you, or I could listen to you forever, but I know our time is limited and you've got at least 5 more hours of applied knowledge to put out before you go to bed. So
I've got to get on another call. This has been awesome. God bless you. Keep doing God's work, and I'll see you sooner rather than later.
Absolutely. This is Dr. George C. Fraser on the Unstoppable Story Show with Terrence Leffridge. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This is just a teaser, a tidbit, a morsel of what you're going to get this week.
Just an hors d'oeuvre. Come to the Power Networking Conference and you'll get a full meal.
Absolutely. So definitely you want to go to his email address, gfraser@frasernet.com. Be one of the first 5 to get that special package. 6 won't do. And then meet him October 14th through the 17th at the Power Networking Conference. And oh, by the way, come back and see him this Friday night with the Council of Men on the Real Men Speak Summit. Now, you've got to go to bit.ly/Real Men Speak. We have made it a free event for everyone who's going to be able to watch it, but free. Even though it's a free event, the information is priceless. And that's why you have to get the special link to watch the broadcast. You've got to put in some work. You got to put some skin in the game to move forward into an unstoppable land of opportunity. And it starts by going to bit.ly/Real Men Speak, and we'll see you on Friday and Saturday. But as always, until we connect again, no matter where you are in the world today, don't just make it a great day. Go out and make it and unstoppable day. Take care.
Good night, everybody.